The Tragic Tale of Gypsy Crusader. This is a video from 4 years ago, and the reason I bring this up today is because he's recently been on the Aiden Ross event where he won against Super Hot Fire. I'm sure many of you have already seen this.
And the winner by split decision,
Super.
Out of the red corner, Gypsy Crusader.
Yep, so he's someone who's notoriously known online, and why this was so controversial for Aiden Ross and everybody else, as you can see, he has Nazi tattoos, is because he has a long history of racism. He's basically banned on every single platform. This is a clip of him showcasing his content.
Wait, I want to know a riddle. Give me a riddle.
No, good evening. Would you guys like to solve a riddle?
Yeah.
Riddle me this. They love fried chicken and watermelon. It's usually that fetty that they be selling. Their fathers are known to be deserters, and calling them this word causes murders. Who are they? Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations. The spider head fucked up has got the answer right. Congratulations.
I'm not laughing because it's funny, okay? I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because of how fucking outrageous this is. I mean,
death threats.
This is him on Aiden Ross talking,
thrown in prison
explaining his point of view.
ADL told the boxing to harassment to death threats to being thrown in prison because the ADL told the FBI to arrest me. All of these things that I've been through, I have every reason not to like you people. Any person who has been through just a small portion of what I have should hate you. The fact that the ADL alone told the FBI, arrest this man because he is spouting hate speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. It's freedom of speech. It's speech you don't like.
I agree with that. I think that everyone should have freedom of speech, but you can't deny that what you're saying is hate speech. It is hate speech. Now, whether you should be arrested based off of it, that's up for debate. But obviously, this is him talking about it, and he's obviously hurt people. He's been hurt by people of color beforehand, and he uses that to justify him having these radical, extremely radical beliefs. And Aiden Ross was in a lot of controversy for having him on. This is a video from 4 years ago, telling us a bit more about his story, because I don't know what happened before that. I just know what I've just showed you.
We do know that one man was taken into custody. The FBI just made the announcement a few moments ago. 32-year-old Paul Miller, he's alleged...
I'm not doing it anymore. My girlfriend left me. My family is harassed every day.
Paul Miller's gone silent on the internet since his arrest a week ago.
People think I like this? Do you think I like it? I wish we didn't have to do this.
32-year-old Paul Miller spent the night in the Broward County Jail this morning. He was brought here to the federal courthouse in Fort Lauderdale.
My life was destroyed from just trying to be a normal journalist.
Paul, thank you so much.
He really is the Joker, like, genuinely. I mean, just look...
Much for joining One American News.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's scary, dude. I have to go. They're going to send me to prison.
But I'm genuinely confused. Did they pick him up and throw him in jail because of hate speech? It can't be purely because of hate speech. He must have done something to someone.
You know, there's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, you must get an ego boost when you see a meme of yourself. I don't get an ego boost. I don't even really like it. It's weird.
There's two potential reasons for why an individual might wake up one day with the overwhelming desire to publicly display themselves as the Joker on the internet. They could either be a lighthearted prankster looking to give someone a laugh in exchange for a video reaction, or alternatively, they could be a deeply tormented individual looking for an outlet to spread a message of misery. You might have seen his painted face pop up in your recommended before. After subsequently thinking, who the hell is this dude? You searched his name but found nothing more than a few low quality videos recorded from an unknown period in the past. There's a reason for this. On the 2nd of March 2021, former YouTuber Gypsy Crusader was arrested at his Fort Lauderdale home and is now facing over 30 years in prison. The reason we say...
Hold on, let me read that. Are these the allegations brought up against him? Paul Miller, who is, as the Gypsy Crusader, amassed a large following on social media platform Telegram, was ordered detained after a federal magistrate Wednesday found him to be a danger to the community. Wow, so it was purely off of hate speech. I mean, the things he's saying are very, very concerning. You have to at least understand that.
Lauderdale home and is now facing over 30 years in prison. The reason we say former YouTuber was because leading up to his arrest, he had been banned from almost every social media platform you can imagine. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, DLive.
To get banned off of Twitter is very impressive, I'll tell you that much.
None of them wanted Paul Miller on their platform, and it's certainly for an understandable reason. Gypsy Crusader used social media to spread a message of hatred towards those who shared differing opinions to him. However, the most interesting part is that Gypsy Crusader wasn't always like this. Initially, he was a fairly moderate political commentator, but if you follow his life over a period of approximately 3 years, you can remarkably observe his life steadily descending into madness one step at a time. What was it that drove Gypsy Crusader to become the person he eventually ended up becoming?
That's what I want to find out.
I was a journalist, and I used to go to all kinds of rallies and protests and things like that, and I recovered. I was independent. I was trying to make my way as a journalist. That's what I wanted to do.
Before he would come to be known as Gypsy Crusader, people simply knew him as Paul Miller, an unassuming individual from the state of New York. Between 2008 and 2018, he had been a professional Muay Thai fighter, trainer, and coach.
Before all this,
Oh wow, that's a lot of insight. I wonder how why was the fight so close then? I know he's been retired for a while, but why was the fight with Super Hot Fire, someone who's on the internet making fake raps? Why was it so close?
Journalism. I was just a martial artist. That's it. I was just a regular little martial artist. I wanted to fight. I
wouldn't say little.
Paul had been extremely successful in this domain, peaking at the US National Kickboxing Champion in 2013 and 2014. However, beginning in around 2018...
By the way, I must say that I notice a pattern here. He's a kickboxing champion. Andrew Tate's a kickboxing champion. Is it like when you become a kickboxing champion, you're just bound to be a famous extremist on the internet? Extremist, I mean, to each their own.
At the age of 30, Paul Miller decided he wanted to venture into the world of politics and journalism. Initially, Paul's approach to politics was conservative, but fairly moderate and nothing even remotely close to extreme. In old clips, Paul is seen walking into the offices of Instagram, demanding to know why certain Republican politicians had been unfairly banned from the platform.
Do you guys want to talk about the what's it called, the banning of Republicans across the internet?
I mean, this is purely a stunt. The employees do not... The people working at the front desk have no involvement in this. I can guarantee you that.
You guys don't want to talk about any of that?
Nothing out of the ordinary for any conservative journalist. Other clips display Paul walking into the offices of CNN, calling them out for posting fake news stories.
CNN is fake news. They engage in propaganda.
Certainly provocative, but not exactly dangerous or extreme. But as time progressed and the social media sphere became more and more polarized, the issues that Paul reported on steadily became more and more extreme, which would lead up to one pivotal night in late 2018, from which Gypsy Crusader would eventually be born.
You have a very unique story about what happened that night. Tell us about when you first went down to the club that night, what you saw.
On the 12th of October 2018, a far-right group known as the Proud Boys were hosting a political speech at the Republican Club in New York City. Paul Miller, the independent journalist, was hoping to attend so he could write a story on the event, however was denied entry as he didn't have tickets. However, it wasn't only Paul Miller who had attended the event without tickets. Antifa, a group at the opposite end of the political spectrum who considered themselves to be the arch nemesis of the Proud Boys, had also attended the event with the goal of protesting their actions.
Wow, this feels like a movie script. Does this happen? This is real life.
After Paul, the at this point independent journalist, had been denied entry, Antifa spotted him walking out of the event assuming he was a member of the Proud Boys and subsequently attacked him under the assumption that he was aligned with the group.
As they were coming towards us, I knew they were after us.
If Paul Miller had escaped the fight that night...
Wow, this guy is a serious demon. This guy has like a villain backstory. He's a real life villain. This guy is genuinely a real life villain. I mean, this is, it's cinema. This is cinema, genuinely cinema. But I wonder how the fight went, because he is a trained martial artist, no?
Without the help of anyone else, it's likely that he would have returned home as nothing more than a bruised and battered independent journalist, but the fight played out in a slightly different way.
When other people would have walked away in the streets of New York, these two men sat there and helped me fight these guys.
Two members of the Proud Boys came to Miller's rescue while he was being attacked. So naturally and understandably, he had gained a level of respect for them that he didn't possess when the night began. So not only did this fight cause Paul Miller to magnify his existing hatred for the political opinion held by the individuals who attacked him, but it also aligned him further with the group who ultimately came to his rescue. However, after the events had concluded, Paul Miller stated that he still didn't align himself with either of the groups involved in the incident.
And you're not a member of the Proud Boys or a member member of the Republican Club. You just went as a spectator to see it.
No, I'm not a member of the Proud Boys.
The members of Antifa who attacked Paul that night were arrested, however the case was thrown out. But this
is a villain backstory, man.
The end of it. The members of the group still blame Miller for what had happened that night and subsequently made it their job to ruin his life by any means necessary.
They then doxed me, they got me fired, they harassed me more. I had the FBI sent to my house.
Amplifying his hatred for their movement even more. In a revenge attempt to discredit the political opinion held by those who were trying to ruin his life, Paul Miller would then register a YouTube channel by the name of Gypsy Crusader, uploading first-hand accounts of the mid-2020 New York riots, attempting to display the violent nature of the protesters. Those who aligned themselves with such a movement were unsurprisingly not happy with Gypsy Crusader's attempt to discredit them and would once again snap back at him, this time going even further by harassing Gypsy Crusader's family.
So they found my mother's business, they harassed my mother for weeks and weeks and weeks, they called her for weeks on end, then they finally came.
That's never excusable. I don't care how much you hate someone, you don't get family involved. That's a red line you don't cross anywhere on social media.
To my mother's house looking for me, not knowing that I don't live there.
Also putting him in a position where he was completely unemployable.
They proceeded to dox me again and then get me fired from my personal training job, and then I was not able to make money anymore.
Understandably, once again, Paul wasn't too happy with this. However, rather than fighting back with violence...
I mean, it really is a cycle of hate, because if you remember what started all of this, it was them hatefully. I'm not saying that he's in the right. Of course he's not in the right. Let me clarify that. What started this is them thinking he was part of a political group which they disagreed with. So they picked a fight with him. Then he now hates them and thinks it's because of their race that they attacked him. It's just a cycle of hate.
Paul began to upload videos to his Gypsy Crusader YouTube channel, stating that it was the only way he could fight back legally.
I just did this because it was the only thing that it was the only thing legal that we could do to fight back at them.
But while Paul worded it in this way, there wasn't much genuine political discussion being had, and his YouTube channel more or less became an outlet for Paul to voice his hatred towards those who shared differing opinions. Gypsy Crusader began to dress up like the Joker as a representation for the individuals who felt as though they had been wronged by the system. He then began to go on the video chatting website Omegle, looking for minorities to which he could spread his hatred towards. Initially, many thought that these videos were intended to be comedy underpinned by shock value.
It's like a joke, right?
However, the reality was quite the opposite. Viewers who held similar views as Gypsy Crusader and felt as though they had been wronged by the system resonated with his message.
He's the real life
result,
Joker.
Gypsy Crusader began to build up an audience around his unique videos. He's the Joker in real life, and I kinda like it.
It's true, he's genuinely a real life villain.
Many who didn't even agree with his message also developed a liking for Gypsy Crusader, as they respected his ability to stand up for what he believed in, or they simply liked the fact that he put in the...
I mean, you gotta give him that. He's obviously standing on business, however wrong that business might be.
Effort to fully dress up as the Joker while on Omegle, regardless of whatever he was talking about, an ultimate negative as it unfortunately added credibility to his, by this point, extreme views. However, while Gypsy Crusader did find a small audience who resonated with...
Let me say this right now to any of you watching this, if someone wrongs you, because obviously they wronged him, they attacked him, they wronged him, you do not meet them, you do not fight fire with fire. I know that's a popular saying, fight fire with fire or an eye for an eye. You don't do that. You don't do that. Take that as a life advice. You take the high ground. They're giving you the high ground, you take the high ground. You take them to court. You're the one calling the police. Don't meet them eye for eye. Don't fight this ego battle. Don't stoop down to their level. Just take the moral high ground when you can. Like you don't have to stoop down and start doing this hateful shit, the same hateful shit that they did to you.
His message,
because you're obviously in the right, but right now you're not in the right. They did something wrong, and you're gonna do something wrong to attack them back. So now you lost your moral high ground. You destroyed your builds.
Surprisingly, the platforms on which Gypsy Crusader was spreading his message of hatred were not fond of the content, and Paul Miller was slowly banned on every social media platform one by one. YouTube, then Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, pushing him further and further to less well-known streaming sites, ultimately shrinking his audience. By the end of the bannings in succession, only a few small websites such as bitwave.tv and Telegram would continue to let him spread his message.
I mean, where would he go? Vimeo? Vimeo? What the fuck? Who the fuck has a Vimeo account? I've never known anyone who's Who actually uses that platform?
However, the viewership on these websites was so small that he was unable to grow. His live streams were garnering a viewership of around 1,000 people per stream, and it seemed as though Paul Miller's extremely short time in the sun was already coming to an end. However, Gypsy Crusader didn't only capture the attention of the social media platforms from which he was being banned, he also began to grab the attention of an external entity with far more power than any social media website, the US government and the FBI.
Oh, wow.
The Anti-Defamation League said they approached the feds when Miller became more radical last year.
The question regarding Gypsy Crusader's actions was no longer, is this appropriate for social media, but rather become, is this appropriate for society? Gypsy Crusader had already been on the US government's radar after prior charges in 2006, 2007 and 2018, which were going to come in handy if the FBI wanted to put Paul Miller behind bars. The charges from 2006 and 2007 meant Gypsy Crusader was unable to legally carry a firearm. However, in January 2018, Paul was found to be carrying one regardless. He was charged for the offense, but had
I don't understand this. This is they want you to throw you in jail, so you're charged guilty before you have any charges or before you've committed any crime. I don't agree with this, the way the FBI handle this, which is very true. This is what happens in the real world. If they want you in jail, they can throw you in jail. This is sad to see. It's true, but it's sad to see, not because I necessarily agree with him, but it's sad to see that they've decided that he's guilty before he's even done anything. I mean, they're digging up things from the past. They just want to throw him in jail for any reason. And this is real hand proof that this actually happens, that people are charged guilty before they've even done anything. I mean, have you ever pirated something? Yeah, have you ever pirated something? Don't lie. Have you ever gone on... I'm not going to start naming sites, but do you pay for every anime you've watched? Do you pay for every movie you've watched? No, they can genuinely throw you in jail because of that. It's like doing something wrong that they disagree with and them going, oh, well, in 2018, we found out, yes, we didn't charge you, but in 2018, we found out that you pirated this movie. We're going to throw you in jail. I don't agree with that.
Been indicted for it until over 3 years later, when everything done in Gypsy Crusader's past would come back to haunt him. At around 5 AM on Tuesday the 2nd of March 2021, Paul Miller's Fort Lauderdale rental property would be raided by the FBI after he'd been living there for only a month.
Flashbang's going off about 6 AM. I went outside to look, and there was about 30 cars, people everywhere.
The arrest was for the 2018 illegal firearm charge. However, it's hard to believe that this was the only reason when the arrest seemed to coincide with the simultaneous increase in online notoriety. The Anti-Defamation League's Center for Extremism stated that
the concerning thing about him is that he seems to feel it's necessary to become more and more extreme to keep his followers, interested.
Also stating that there were numerous elements making him a danger to society, such as
he has a criminal past. There's a red flag that he has weapons. He posted images of himself with weapons.
A day after.
I usually don't agree with stuff like this because I think they're reaching. In this situation, I don't think they are reaching. This is a person who I can definitely see him doing something crazy. And if he did go on to commit a mass shooting, God forbid, obviously that's not a good thing. But if he did go on to do that, then people would be like, why didn't anyone step in? Why didn't we stop him? I mean, the signs were there. And they picked up on the signs. So am I going to sit here and say what they did was wrong? No, but they should charge him with something that he's actually committing right now, not dig up something from his past. Could they not charge him with hate speech? Could they not charge him for saying something? Could they not charge him for... Could they not find all the shit that he's doing right now? Could they not attribute that to any crime? Like, do they have to go and dig up shit from the past?
To being arrested, Gypsy Crusader went to trial, which went down as follows.
During his federal court hearing, his lawyer said Paul Miller was ready to stay off the internet and wear a tracking device, but the judge determined he was a threat to the community and should not be released awaiting trial.
Articles written by websites such as the Washington Post stated that Miller was facing up to 30 years in prison. However, on the 27th of June 2021, Gypsy Crusader was interviewed over the phone by an individual who was seemingly trying to get an update on the situation, where Paul gave a rough outline of the amount of time he was actually facing.
Tell him that I'm looking at from a year to 2 years, something in that range. It's not 10 years, it's not 50 years, it's not 30 years. It's not anything like that.
Following this, Paul Miller had another hearing over Zoom, which was bombed, interrupted, and recorded by those who consider themselves enemies of Gypsy Crusader.
Yeah, there's a person that I know who's online. His name is Jay Danks, and I just seen him twice pop up on the screen, sir. And he's a streamer. So I assume that people are trying to make a spectacle of me.
Yeah, there's an FBI person on the screen right now. FBI is dialed into this call, so we're aware of what's going on. I do see what's going on here.
The most interesting part of this hearing is undoubtedly the genuine display of Gypsy Crusader's completely defeated morale.
I just don't want to be made into a spectacle, sir.
Oh wow. Like, this is insane to watch. He's getting stripped of everything, man. He's getting stripped of his dignity, he's getting stripped of everything. I want to make this very clear. I don't agree with this person at all. I think he's very radical. I think he's going about this completely the wrong way. But this is just hateful people on both sides of the spectrum. This is hateful people on both sides of the spectrum, and that hate, hate from over here, hate from over here, and at the end of it all, you just get a big bonfire.
Any more than I already have. And my family has suffered enough, everyone. I don't want to make anyone suffer anymore.
Paul Miller, aka Gypsy Crusader, is due to be sentenced on the 30th of August 2021.
I mean, truly, just like any other like comic book villain, it always has a backstory that makes you think just for a second, even if you know deep down that, for example, the Joker, killing people is bad, it does make you sit there for a second and go, I mean, I can see why. I mean, you get what I'm saying? I feel the same way about this. I'm genuinely sat here going, like, I can tell why he feels that way. I'm saying it's obviously wrong, and him and the people who attacked him both need therapy. But I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm clueless as to why he hates people of race so much. I mean, it's just, they have wronged him, and he's definitely wronged them. It's both sides of people who don't know how to manage their feelings. I mean, let's grow up, Pig. Who's here after the fight? I am. Since his imprisonment, he has been quiet since his... like, no shit. Yeah, so it seems the comments don't have much to add. I'm gonna end the video there. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe. I post videos like this every day. And yeah, see you.